What's going on, guys? It's Thomas from the Switched Up. Welcome back to another episode of Nintendo Tonight. Now, this is a weird one. Not only is it our kind of annual Pokemon episode, which we, I guess, do every year. I said it's annual, so I guess now it's a yearly thing. But you will notice a new face if you are watching this on the Nintendo Tonight channel, or, again, the live Switched Up channel. We are streaming these every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we got my boy Jack in this. Jack and I, we go way back. We went to high school together. He's living with me now. I said this before, but he's directly behind this wall. But not only that, he has been the producer of Nintendo Tonight now for the better part of the last year. And we brought Jack on for many reasons, but for one particular reason. Jack, tell him about this whole Pokemon thing, and you're give yourself a little introduction. Let the crowd know who you are, and then we'll launch into some Pokemon discussion.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Jack. I'm, as Thomas mentioned, the producer and editor for the Nintendo Tonight YouTube channel. I've been playing Pokemon since I was very, very young. You can see I have a Pokemon card collection for all the visual viewers, and I'm excited to jump into some Pokemon. There's been some crazy stuff I've been hearing, and I remember last year's episode, I didn't get to participate because I was on the other end of it. I was just doing the editing, so I'm excited to be here this year.
Jack's been waiting for this moment.
Oh,
this is his. This is his.
We are so back. We've
I'm
never
excited.
been this back before.
Yeah. Yeah. This is gonna be good. I was saying, Jack's been waiting for this. This is his magnum opus. We're so back. We are so back. But yeah,
more.
we have a lot of stuff actually to talk about in terms of the Pokemon universe. And a lot of that is mainly because there is a Pokemon Presents coming up, I think, a week from today. It is February 27th. Am I right or am I wrong?
You are correct. You are correct, good sir. Yep.
That's what people have been saying. There's a whole Pokemon Presents thing going on, and dude, I'm kind of stoked for this. I'm not a huge Pokemon fan. I can't lie. I enjoy the games. I have Pokemon Sapphire. It's one of my favorite games ever. The cartridge is right over there. But beyond that, I got Sword and Shield. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of like and then I never got Scarlet and Violet. So I'm kind of like I'll be the moderator today and let you guys get crazy with it. I think first thing we should do is talk about what we can pretty much assume, like guarantee, will be in this Pokemon Presents. And that is the one Pokemon game we know of right now, which is Pokemon Legends ZA. So there's a lot of potential stuff they could do with Legends ZA. And I'm curious on what you guys think, like what you guys actually want to see in this, because I don't really have any requests. Just solely because I'm not a huge Pokemon. I don't even I've never completed Pokemon X or Y. So and this is like, correct me if I'm wrong. That's like a expansion beyond that, right? It's like the same.
Yeah, it's like same region. Yeah.
Okay.
I think this game in particular is really kind of important in the whole Pokemon lore, I guess you could say, because Gen 6 kind of got screwed over in when it first came out, because it was the transition from when they went from like the DS to the 3DS, and they didn't go right away because they still dropped Black 2, White 2 on the original DS. So they dropped X and Y a year after that, and felt kind of rushed and felt a little empty. And then people were like, okay, Pokemon Z is coming, guys, for sure, haha. And it just never showed up, despite it kind of being a pattern from then on in the series. Obviously, Emerald is, to Sapphire and Ruby and Platinum to Diamond, Pearl, stuff like that. Just the definitive version. So we were waiting for Pokemon Z for a long time. We never got it, but we are so back now. So it's kind of interesting that it all came around 10 years later, now that we're getting this game, or 12 years later now. Yeah, 12 years later, we're finally getting this game, but in a different form that we didn't think. I'm just excited to see actual gameplay, because I loved the way they introduced the trailer, but it's the only thing I've seen, and it's driving me a little bit crazy with the blue wireframe and everything like that. I'm like, dude, oh no, get it away.
You think the entire game is blue wireframe?
I'm traumatized. Yeah, dude, it's I just gotta see gameplay. I'm yelling for it. I need that. But yeah, I'm excited for it, dude. It's gonna be sick. I'm excited for sure. Jack, what do you think?
I think
Legends ZA.
I think the biggest and best part about ZA, and just Pokemon right now, where it is at, is the Legends franchise. Obviously, Legends Arceus was made one way, but we don't have to. No, Nintendo doesn't have to keep making Legends games that exact same way. I feel like it gives them a lot more creativity to expand on the Pokemon universe and how like core mechanics like operate, and that they can change them and modify them, make them better, and then maybe bring that even back into the mainline games. There's a lot of things that people want from these games. Mega Evolutions were teased, but then the question is, more? Are they going to bring back old ones, or is it going to be entirely new ones? I think either way, it's a win, because Mega Evolutions were just the best. But overall, is like this game has so much potential, and it could be so many different things. And I'm just excited to see anything more about it, because again, that one trailer doesn't give you a whole lot.
I know it just kind of gives you a little tease, but they just didn't show anything. It's really exciting. They've had like a lot of time to develop this too. I'm pretty sure this like development on ZA was started kind of like near the end of Scarlet and Violet, and it's probably one of the longest development cycles, correct me if I'm wrong, for a Pokemon game ever. So especially with the Switch era, which I'm sure I'll get to my yearly yap sesh of performance, FPS, we'll get there eventually. I'm not gonna jump there right away, but so ZA, super cool. Going back to Kalos, it was a surprise in the first place. We're even going back because it totally defies like everything that is like a pattern for Pokemon. Like what our mind tells us is, okay, so Legends is new, right? But we're going to go to Unova because that's the next gen to get remade, right? And they were like, they just pulled the rug on us. They were like, haha, nope, JK, we're not doing that. We're going ahead. And we were like, well, damn. But it's, dude, Pokemon Z, this could be peak. This could be peak. Like, if it's half as good as Legends Arceus, dude, kind of crazy. Because this was like, I think this is kind of a hot take in the community of that. I think Legends Arceus literally might be top 5 Pokemon game. I know that might be insane to say.
I don't think
like,
that's a hot take. I think I think people who've actually played Arceus would say so. People who haven't would be like, they just don't know.
Yeah, there's some certain people that I work with in Switch Stop that said that the tutorial was too long and it wasn't good enough to be a top 100 game. So I'm not going to name any names, but somebody said that. You're going to have to become a member to find out who that was. But anyway, hey, man. No, but like if it's better than Legends Arceus, like that's crazy because development time, and then this game could literally just get a massive buff with the Switch 2, which I'm sure we'll get into. Possibly like, get a patch or something like that on the Switch 2 to make it better. And curious how they're going to kind of deal with, I guess we'll go into the performance thing now on this massive rant on, I'm curious how they navigate this because December 2022, like Scarlet and Violet, I think is a great game. Like I have 1,000 hours and more on like Scarlet and Violet combined and stuff like that. But the performance was an issue, and Nintendo literally came out when they were making like patch notes for the game. Obviously, they came out and they apologized for the performance issues, and it's like almost going on 3 years later. Brother, it is not fixed. Nothing is fixed. It's the same as day one. Like it's kind of wild. So I'm curious to see how they navigate that this time because the sales numbers say that they're, excelling everything that they're doing in flying colors. But, if you have to apologize like that or you feel like you have to apologize like that in patch notes, I've never seen that before from Nintendo. That's just me. That's like some early CD Project Red stuff.
With Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. You can speak to that for sure, yeah.
Oh yeah, I can. I want to play Cyberpunk again so bad, but I'm waiting because the rumor this is so unrelated from Pokemon, but they just added mod tools to The Witcher 3 for PC, like officially supported mod tools, and I really think they're gonna do that to Cyberpunk. So I'm refusing because I modded my Cyberpunk and then they updated it and broke all the mods. So I'm just not gonna. I want to play it with my mods. But I'm just going to wait until they do the official mod tool. Whatever. Unrelated. Back to Pokemon.
No, that's a good point, though.
I do agree with what you're saying, PJ, in the sense of they could very easily not fix anything. The Switch 2, even beyond Legends ZA, the next Pokemon, like Gen 10, are we up to Gen 10? Is that us?
Yep. Yes,
Okay.
that is next.
If the next Gen 10 Pokemon game could be just as like laggy, bad, they could mess it up again, and I don't even think there would be a drop in sales. There would be internet outrage.
Never.
I don't think there would be a drop in sales. If anything, it goes up. It's just gonna be like, it's gonna stay proportional to how well the console sold. Like the Switch sold really well, so Pokemon was like selling really well. If the Switch 2, might not sell as well, but Pokemon's still going to sell dang well on that console. It'll be within the top 5, maybe top 10, lifetime sales video games on Switch 2. So it's like, what incentive do they have to actually make a higher quality product? Financially, they really don't have much.
Not hating your job.
Yeah, I mean, you
being
could say,
acting in good faith.
You could no, I agree. I agree that they should make a better. That's not what I'm not saying they should just not try. My logic.
Troll.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. My logic is, I think they've just been crunched like crazy, which is ridiculous coming from like the biggest game, the highest selling media franchise ever, that they don't have more devs. But whatever. My logic is that, okay, the Legends series, and I say this as, again, not a huge Pokemon fan, but the Legends sub-series, because it is now a sub-series with ZA, at least being announced, it seems to be where they're, like, as you said, Jack, getting real experimental with some, like, crazy new stuff. I want to see them swing for the fences. I saw, I never played Legends ZA. Legends Arceus. But I watched PJ. I watched you play it a lot. I watched people play it in real life. I've seen a decent amount of that game for someone who's never purchased it, and it looked really sick. I like all the real time like battling, and you could just walk up to people, capture them, walk up to people, battle. It's like all super quick. I just hope that they like almost swing even further than that. Like, I want to see something that just doesn't even resemble Pokemon apart from the like name recognition and the actual Pokemon themselves. Like, from a gameplay perspective, I want to see something completely new for Legends ZA. I just hope, my biggest hope for this presentation is that Legends ZA is that something new, and it's not just, they're taking the exact same gameplay style from Legends Arceus and putting it in a new location and new Pokemon, and that's the Legends series is just going to be this now, in the same way that like the normal series for so many years didn't really change anything. Then we started getting open worlds. I don't want them to put Legends in like, it'll be a different box, but it'll still be a box. I just want them to come out and do something just ridiculously weird that's not at all like what people are expecting, and then that way it's like, all right, yeah, so they'll always have the main Pokemon games, but for the Legends games they just go crazy with it and just try some random new stuff. That's my hope.
Yeah, Jack, go ahead. I was yapping for so many minutes. You go ahead.
Well, I'm just like, I've been thinking about what you guys have been saying a little bit, and because normally, from my perspective, I'm just used to listening. So right.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. No, fair, dude. Fair. I get that.
Everything about ZA, to Thomas's point, tells me it's going to be something completely different from Arceus. I just had one just from the trailer and like the way that they made it from more of like Arceus or Legends Arceus is set in the past. It's very like everything there is older. And with the new game, it's going to be, a lot of it looks very modern. Obviously, nothing's confirmed or like futuristic.
It just said on the screen, redevelopment plan. I feel like this game's got a future.
When I paused there, I was most pointing to the screen, but you can't see my hands. So that's why it was like a really awkward like little moment there, because I was pointing at the trailer.
That's funny.
So I feel like they could completely spin Legends Arceus on its head here and do something that doesn't even look remotely similar to it. Obviously, the general core mechanics are going to be the same, with the catching Pokemon, running into battles. But with how this looks on screen right now for all of our visual listeners, this could be 50 years in the future. This could be 150 years in the future.
Yeah,
we have no idea yet. So in terms of like the technology that the Pokemon company can come up with, we have no idea. It could be incredible.
Yeah, I've heard things like since it's all set in Lumio City, and I'll kind of get to this point in a sec. But since it's all set in Lumio City, initially people were kind of like, okay, so like Legends Arceus, you could like travel all around like what would become like Mount Coronet and stuff like that, and all of these different areas that all look different. Like you have a fiery area, you have an icy area, like you have like grassy fields, all this stuff, and people are like, well, now it's just in the city, and now I'm just going to be in sewers the entire time. And it's like, guys, surely not. Like, we cannot, like, we're not playing, like, TMNT. Like, I'm not too sure, like, what we're really doing right now. So I think that's kind of wild. But I think the idea of Lumio City, because it was, like, the most grandiose, like, big city that was, like, the kind of face of X and Y, that they didn't have the power to really flesh out their full ideas back on the 3DS, and now they have that opportunity. So I'm interested to see how big they really make it, because like obviously it's supposed to be Paris, right? So could be sick. Could be sick. I mean, again, I'm a Gen 4 guy at heart, so I think even if objectively this game is better, I might be like Legends Arceus, but it's I don't know. It's really exciting. I'm curious to see what they do with the city to make it not all look the same. I know that sounds like really weird, but the fact that everybody is kind of saying, and like even in the Japanese tweet, the translation, even through English, it was like it is set in Lumio City. People were like, so I'm stuck in the city? Like what's going on? So surely there's got to be more to it.
I'm gonna give a hot take here. I don't think Pokemon has ever had a like truly great city to explore. I think like vibes wise, I think they've had a lot of good cities. I think from like a gameplay perspective, it feels like a route with a bunch of buildings you can't walk into. That's what the cities feel like in Pokemon to me. I don't know if that's crazy. It just feels like they took a bunch of buildings that like you can't like do anything.
In Scarlet and Violet, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You can't enter anything in that game, so you're not wrong there.
Sorry, I should clarify. I mean, in like the more like 3D, bigger, modern games. I guess you could say like I like a Sutopolis city or like stuff like that from like Gen 3, but that you can't even really compare that because that's all like it's like copy and paste the same houses, and then you walk in and there's an NPC and maybe they'll give you like a berry or something, but it's not like it's a it's just kind of different. I think for like this game, I am actually excited for the fact that it's all taking place in one city, because I think they could actually do a legitimately cool city for once. Like
100%.
They could do like the side quest could be insane to where like you need maybe someone has like a maybe you just walk into some random apartment building, you go to some random apartment and someone's like oven is out, and so if you have a fire type Pokemon, you can help them cook their food. Like legit stuff like that, where it's just like the Pokemon and people interacting together in one like urban environment. That is sick. And we saw that even within the one trailer we did get, because it was a bunch of people and a bunch of Pokemon in the city. So I think it's a lot of it's gonna be how those two aspects kind of work together. Which I'm super excited for, because I just low-key think they've kind of been snoozing on a lot of like the big like city side of things. I know I said that and it was like getting some hate, but I kind of think that. I think it's like it's just been kind of boring. Like I want to see an actual legitimately like modern, it doesn't even have to be next gen, current gen. Like, I'm even saying current gen as in, like, Xbox One, PS4. Bro, even Xbox 360. Like, I want to see just a city that, like, feels like it's from, like, the 21st century of video game development, where there's, like, a lot of stuff to do. It's really densely packed, and it's not just, like, two buildings you can walk into, a Pokemon Center, and then, like, random, like, buildings in the background that are, like, geometry, and maybe one of them is important to the story, so they bothered to let you walk in, but there's nothing else to do. Like, I feel like it's just so boring. It doesn't feel real, and that's, like, what Pokemon is at its best to me, and I would assume a lot of other casual fans, when it feels like you're legitimately in, like, your own world, like, catching these little, when the world feels believable, that's when Pokemon's at its best. Yeah. And I think as graphics get better, quote unquote, you can argue if the 16-bit.
You mean when Game Freak catches up? Sorry.
Yeah.
Did I say that out loud? Oops.
But as games get rendered in higher higher resolution, and there's more stuff that can be put on screen, and the art styles and everything adapt to that, I feel like Pokemon has like it's harder for me to imagine that like the region I'm playing in Sword and Shield is an actual place, even though it technically, like, it looks higher quality than, like, Hoenn on the Game Boy Advance. It's a lot easier for me to feel like I'm in an actual area in Hoenn rather than, like, Galar or something, because that was just, bro, I could rant about Sword and Shield. I think those games are kind of bad. I'm not even gonna lie, like, really, really bad.
Ooh, we could all, but, like,
Jack
Twitter...
likes them, dude. We'll get. Yeah, okay, so we could just transfer into this, because this seems like a good conversation to have. Let's have a good old Pokemon Sword and Shield debate. You want to put up a... I didn't mean to put you on blast there, Jack. If you want to pull up a Pokemon Sword and Shield trailer, let's just have this. We'll come back to the predictions in a minute. Let's talk about some Pokemon Sword and Shield, bro. My only reason I did not like this game... Not only reason. The main reason I did not like this game... Everything... It felt like there was the wild area, which was like, all right, cool, whatever. I cannot name you a single unique route or town from that game, and that, like, what it actually did for the gameplay. Like, some of the art direction was cool. I remember the snowy route. I remember, like, there was like a forest, like, fairy town that looked cool.
Yep.
Everything else, and then the story was awful. The story of this game sucked. Sorry, Jack.
I won't argue that. I won't argue that.
Okay.
A lot of
I thought the
Pokemon
story was
stories are
boring.
ass.
Yeah, no, it's true. But I thought this was a bad game. But maybe I'm bugging. It actually looks visually better than I remember it in the trailer.
Okay, here's the issue. Here's the issue. Sorry to cut you off. The issue is,
go ahead.
I remember I was there when Sword and Shield was out. I was there when the textures were, like, thinning out. I could see little dots on the trees, like I was, like, coding the tree myself, like I was designing it. I was there, and then when we get to Scarlet and Violet, now it just looks like the greatest creation that Game Freak has ever blessed us with. It's insane. It is insane. Like,
we're going how Sword and Shield looks better than Scarlet and Violet.
Like we're going backwards. It's insane, actually, because I think Scarlet and Violet's a better game. But I look at Sword and Shield, I'm like, damn, like, this game looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. I'd play this game. And then I think about it, I'm like,
oh wait, I did play this game and I hated it.
Yeah, I played through not once but twice, and I hated it a little less the second time, but I still didn't like it. It was, dude, it is one of the most forgettable stories of all time. The only memorable character is Leon, and that's because of the anime. I don't care what anybody says. His ace is a Gen 1 Pokemon, and you're in the 8th generation, brother. What are you doing? So it's like, I can't with Sword and Shield. It makes me insane because after this game we get BDSP, and then I just have a mental breakdown. It's the worst thing ever. It's the worst thing ever, dude. It's so bad.
I gotta hear Jack's, because I remember, Jack, you were like, I actually like Sword and Shield one time, and I was like, we're saving that for the podcast.
Yeah,
we're saving that for the podcast.
So there, aside from the many issues of forgettable storyline, and I mean, everything PJ was saying, I probably logged of between Gen 6, 7, and 8. I by far have the most hours in Sword and Shield. I have the most Pokemon in Sword and Shield, and and 9. I have not actually logged many hours in Scarvy. The big thing for me in this game was the DLC. The DLC that occupied me for hours. Specifically, the den battles that are on screen right now.
Okay.
These things were the worst.
That is fair.
They took 15 minutes, but when you finally got that legendary that you're looking for after resetting 30 times, it's the most satisfying thing. And also the legends from this game are just ridiculous. All of them.
Yeah, they are good. Like, you'll never come out of a Pokemon game thinking like, wow, they were like definitely on something when they were creating these Pokemon. Like, obviously there's like always
Gen
that
9
one
DLC is like that. I think Gen 9 is like, what?
There's always that one, but I don't know. Like, I remember initially back when I played like Sword and Shield's DLC, I didn't know how good I had it back in the day. I really didn't. Like, I was like having a stroke when my Rotom bike lagged. I was like, this is so bad. And then like I didn't know how good I had it because in Scarlet and Violet, when I walk into Lagatree Forest, yes, that's a fan-made name, that you can't you
really.
cannot go through the the forest correctly, or Lag Lake. Try going through Lag Lake in Scarlet Violet.
I'd never had performance problems, and I had it day one. I'd never had.
You never had
problems.
performance issues on Scarlet and Violet?
No,
What?
not once.
What?
Mm-mm. Sorry.
No,
Sword
that's
Shield,
not
Sword
true,
Shield,
though.
Sword and Shield, Sword and Shield.
Oh, sword and shield. Sword and shield.
Okay. Yeah. No, no.
I was gonna say, bro's got the Switch too early.
yeah.
That's crazy.
No.
I was about to say, like, dude, we can trade Switches and I'll give you 100 on top of it. Goddamn. Anyway, no, I like the performance overall in Sword and Shield. It wasn't like horrid, but again, I was complaining back then. I'm recalling back to 2019. I was complaining back then because I'd never experienced or noticed that before. And then when I was like speeding up on my bike, or if it was raining, or if I dared to connect to the internet, it would start to lag. And then I thought it was like the end of the world in video games, of course. And then I got to Scarlet and Violet. I was like, wow, life was pretty good then. It was crazy. But back to why I don't think Sword and Shield is good. Yeah, the story for me, it is so important. I thought the wild area was just kind of bland. And the only thing I kind of liked about this game was the arena gym kind of things that were going on. Like, I liked the big arenas. That was cool. That was really sick. I think Dynamax and Gigantamax are the worst gimmicks ever created in the history of the franchise.
Z moves.
Are you kidding me? Dude,
Z moves were the most useless thing ever, actually.
Dude, they literally looked at the Pokemon and they were like, hee hee ha ha, go big. That's what they did.
Go big and get your stats buffed.
No!
Z moves just did a ton of damage, and if they did resisted damage, they did absolutely nothing. There was no worth for a Z move against a resisted Pokemon. You can at least just buff your stats or debuff their stats with Gigantamax and Dynamax.
Just don't use the wrong move. What can I say? Just don't use the wrong move, dude.
Do you do much competitive battling?
No, not at all.
Oh,
Dude, no. Dynamax, bro, that is horrid. That is horrid. It's literally Megas, but worse.
You can tell when someone's never played competitive.
The worst. Yeah, it was completely broken in comp. It was completely broken in comp. Gigantamax, that was busted.
Yes.
Yeah, horrid.
Is that a problem?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, dude, because Megas are more balanced and they look cooler. That's what's important.
Well, Megas is good. I feel like Megas is the general consensus best, right? Out of like the weird gimmick stuff they try and add.
Yeah, right, I'm a Dynamax hater. Also, on top of that,
that's why we disagree about Sword and Shield. That's why.
Yeah, fair. The jokes aside, though, like I do think it's the worst like gimmick or whatever. But the thing that I disliked the most was we were in a new generation. This is not a Kanto remake. We already got that on the Switch before this, by the way, if anyone forgot. And instead of giving a lot of like Gen 8 Pokemon, or even like newer from like Gen 6 and 7, like Gigantamax forms, stuff like that, they just gave it to all the Kantomons. Like, I know you guys love Charizard, Game Freak, but like, what are we doing? Like the entire thing. There were so many Gen 1 bros. I was like floored. Like, we're giving Butterfree forms, dude. What's going on now? I couldn't believe it.
Bro, I just realized
Butterfree was great.
I just realized it never updated the podcast thumbnail, so it says
I saw that, yeah. I saw that.
You saw that? Didn't tell me? What the hell, man?
I forgot.
Well, I fixed it. I'm sorry, guys.
I forgot.
If you were expecting Nintendo Direct, it's Pokemon all day today. So
Pokemon Direct.
Oh yeah, Pokemon Presents, baby. So okay. So we've had.
We can get back on track now.
Sword and Shield.
I need that like once a year. I appreciate that.
I'm not even touching Scarlet Violet with a 10-foot pole. Here's my question. What is one feature? Can't be Megas. We already know that's coming. Yeah. And think out of the box. This doesn't even have to be a returning feature. I'm just thinking of like something. Yeah. You know, in the game, in Lumio City. We're assuming that's you only stay in the city, because I think we can all agree on that. What is one feature that you want to see them add for Legends ZA? And I'll let you guys think for a bit, because you guys are actually the Pokemon fans. I'll give the casuals perspective here for Pokemon Legends ZA. Okay.
Do it.
Here's my thing.
Love it.
I want mini games. I want mini games that are actually built in. I don't want this Poke-a-me. You care for Pokemon. I don't want to make soup or whatever it was in I don't know. There was some sort of like soup decks.
You can make sandwiches. You can make sandwiches in Arceus.
What was that?
You can make shit
what
or
was
like
the
curries.
decks?
You can make like curries and
curry
Yeah.
decks. That was
the
ridiculous.
curry decks in Sword and Shield.
I'm sorry, dude. If we're making like a whole mini game like that, the curry decks, bro. I'm gonna hit a 3-pointer. Call me Curry, but I ain't cooking that much. I got no reason. There's no reason for all that. We don't need it. We just don't. I want to see some mini games that actually like involve the Pokemon that you
curry.
can like get. Yeah, like what?
Here's
bro, what is
Pokemon
this?
Camp, haha.
What is this? I don't want Pokemon Camp. I don't want Poke-a-me. I don't want Pokemon. Touch my Pokemon on the like touch screen.
Careful.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what people was doing. They were touching Mons, bro. There's been some data leaks that maybe Game Freak might actually add that in, but who knows, man? Who knows? All I'm saying is they better add some legit mini games. And here's some of my ideas for mini games, bro. Because if we're talking, all right, what do you think of when you think of a mini game in a city in a game published by Nintendo? That's right. Jump rope challenge. But how do we make this interesting? Boom. Wailord. You play as Wailord and you just gotta
That
or
would be
Magikarp,
hilarious.
Magikarp. Don't they have Magikarp jump? Isn't that like a game?
they splash.
I feel like I've seen.
I feel like
that before.
I've heard of a game called Magikarp Jump. But maybe it's
I feel like I've seen
I don't
that
know.
before.
I don't know. Dude, Magikarp doing a little jump over the jump rope. I know that's like a bit, but like they could do legitimately fun mini games in Pokemon, and I think they should. Kind of like remember the dude. I'm on one. I know what I'm doing. I'll play that for like.
There
I
you
thought
go.
you were talking about an in-game mini game.
No, bro, I'm a bigger Pokemon fan. See, look at me.
funny.
No, I'm serious though. I want to see them do some mini games, and I want them to actually. I want like you enter your Pokemon into the mini game, kind of like Pokemon contests. Do they still do those? Probably not. They did them in like Gen 3.
That
I
was
think
gonna
they dropped that.
That was
they
gonna
dropped
be
that. Yeah.
my thing I wanted to bring back, but
Okay.
then you spun it with mini games. So we were
You can
thinking
take
the
it, bro.
same way.
You can
We were
you
thinking
can
the
you can
same
take
way.
it. You probably know more about it than I do. But
Yeah, so Pokemon contests are dumb. They
Ooh,
Yeah, I
I
never
love
did-
it. I love it. I love the take. Yep. Keep going.
I
you
never
know,
did it.
I always felt
I just like the animations because
I-
it showed there were different sprites for your Pokemon in the Pokemon contest, and that was
and there were
like,
different like events, but all the events required you to do like the same exact action, but in a different timing. So it was
Yeah.
the same thing over and over. So if they could take like some sort of like contest like that, and then incorporate other Pokemon in different types of mini games. And you could have them even like you could have like game spots around the town where you can go and play like these 3 mini games, and at a different one you go play these 3 mini games, and it's kind of
That's
like
what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's I was
that's
thinking
what
the
I'm
same
saying.
thing.
Would be
Dude,
cool.
what about like a there's like a moat around the city or something? There's got to be some like river body of water in the city.
Oh, we actually saw that. I'm pretty sure we saw that. We saw like
I
in
think
the ZA
Yeah.
trailer, we saw Gyarados go under a bridge or something like that. Yeah.
So what about
Yeah.
like there's like some guy there who's like constant. Whenever you walk up to him, he'll challenge you to like a swim, and you find out through like some quest that he's cheating, and he has like a Carvana or something. That's not even a Pokemon, is it? What's the
No,
name
it
of
is.
the one?
It
that-
is.
Okay, yeah.
It
Sorry,
is.
I was thinking of
Yeah.
like the company Carvana, but the like the like Pokemon like I don't know. There's some water type Pokemon that's like helping him, and he's like grabbing it underwater,
Yeah.
and it's making him go faster. So you got to go like find a Pokemon that can help you with that. Like help you beat this guy in a race, or like a bunch of stuff like that. Like even like I want them to like actually use the Pokemon you have in like different mini games or side quests. That's like my one big thing.
This reminds me of how the gyms were in in Sword and Shield or Scarvy. Which one had like the Wooloo and the Wooloo
Sword and
herd?
Shield.
Yeah, that was Sword and Shield. Yeah.
So that reminds me of that also. Like how you're like it's all based around a specific type of Pokemon. Like you had to catch 3 fire types, or you had to herd the Wooloo, and it was all based around the gym. So doing something like that, but in like more smaller places around Lumios at certain like bosses or whatever, that could be really cool.
That would be dope.
Yeah, I just want them to take advantage of the space they have, right? Like, because now you're off of the 3DS and now you're on like the Switch. You have so much space to finally expand upon this city that you had such high hopes for, I can imagine. And now you get the opportunity. Like, just make it as interactive as possible, like everything Legends Arceus did, but just make it more replayable and stuff like that. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I have one more request.
Please do tell.
Okay, so in the trailer for Legends EA, you see Lumio City, and I don't know if this is just like the way it was on the map for the trailer, or if it was like pause on like the overhead of the
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
you see how it's like it's gonna be like split up into like I think 5 different quadrants.
Yeah.
8 or 6, I guess. In Legends Arceus, it was like big open world, but there were like different areas that you couldn't like fly from one part of the map to the other. It was like a collection of smaller open areas, right?
Yeah. It was like you were in Jubilee Village, and then you went up to the gate, and it was like, where do you want to go? Kind of thing. Like the story would direct you. So it wasn't like fully open world, but open area. Yeah.
If the entire game takes place in one city, it's got to be fully open world. I got to be able to walk from one end of the city to the other. I got to be able to get on a subway station to get from one part to the other and like watch a little animation. It looks like this might be split up into sections just by the way they drew the map. If they have to, so the game can run at 15 frames per second, fine. Fine. But there should be a way to get one big city as a map and just, especially, like, I feel like, okay, I'm about to give, this is like, welcome back to YouTuber who doesn't do game dev, gives takes about game dev, but I feel like,
yeah, go ahead.
Stop me if I'm wrong, in a city, hold on, I gotta hang that up. In a city, that might be the easiest way to, cull different areas you're not actually in, because if you're in, like, one little part of the city, there's sky rises all above you, so you don't need to like be able to see all the other stuff. So that just doesn't need to be rendered in. So I don't know. That's my one big take. I don't know if we want to.
That just sounds like a Minecraft rant. Not rendering everything in. It renders everything.
I just don't want to I want to be able to actually walk across the whole city. This has to be one big open world. If you're limiting us to one city, which I'm actually in support of, but if that is happening, it's got to be one city and not 4 sections of a city connected by
I think they're doing levels. I think they're doing levels instead of you'll be able to be in the top of Lumios and then like an underground and then something else maybe.
I
think
was
that's
thinking
what they're gonna do.
I was thinking that you go down, but the thing that I'm wondering is, because this is my prediction. I think this is kind of a common take, but let me know what you think. I guess Jack, because you would know, I would assume, because you played like Sun and Moon. I know that in those games, because it was kind of weird, because it was like they wanted to give Zygarde the game, but like they didn't, and Zygarde's story kind of got carried over to like the Alola games where you could like collect the Zygarde cells, and I'm thinking that you're probably going to be able to do that in this game. So I wonder, like, as you go down, like, you have to find a certain amount of like Zygarde cells, and that's like the main goal, I guess. I don't know.
Do we want to touch on the potential new legend?
Oh yeah. That's interesting
that's
it's in the name. Yeah,
that's the A.
Yeah,
it's I can pull it up. It's pronounced Oroboda, or at least that's how I assume it's pronounced.
Aura, like
Oroboda has been
king.
leaked as the counterpart sort of to Zygarde in this new game. So obviously we don't really have anything to go off of for this.
Orabora, that's what it's called.
Oroboda.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if it's Orabora, it sounds like Ouroboros, which is like the snake eating its own tail.
Mm-hmm. Which would make sense for a circle. Makes sense for a circle. A snake legend would be kind of cool.
True.
Isn't that what Zygarde is?
I feel like I heard that.
Zygarde's
a dragon.
He looks.
Well, I mean, there's no snake Pokemon. There's no snake type.
He kind of looks like a slug, but
but he the thing is he just has his percentage forms. Like he has his percentage forms, so he's not like he can be a dog.
Yeah, dude's a dog at one point, and then he's like a slug, and then he's like
a man,
this like massive guy. It's like okay,
word. All right, Pokemon.
Man.
I don't know.
It's really weird. It's like there's this thing called like a Zygarde 10% form, and he just turns into he's just a dog.
Let me get this straight. Do you collect different like Zygarde cells?
Yeah, and like Sun and Moon. Yeah, in Sun and Moon, that's how you like.
You had to collect 100 Zygarde cells.
Boom! Zygarde shells, scatter them around the city. Korok seeds. That's the replacement. Give us those little bite-sized challenges around the city.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's kind of true. That would be cool. And then also with the different like ride Pokemon now, I wonder what they would do with like, because they're gonna obviously, or not obviously, but I would assume they're gonna use a bunch of the like Kalos Pokemon and like anything else that's gonna be newer, because you know you're gonna get like
Bring back
Kalos
the barrel.
and oh yeah, I need that guy back. That's my
You
guy
need to
right
be able
there.
to surf on the barrel. The best.
That's a need. That's a need. Legends Arceus wipes if we can't surf on Barrel right there.
Do you think we what generations of Pokemon do you think we get in ZA?
I mean, it's probably gonna be mostly 6, but I've heard that there's gonna be a lot of 7. Like I heard a Lycanroc rumor, like a Kalos Lycanroc
I
thing
think
that may or may
Those
not have been
generations
leaked.
are very connected, right? Like, I feel like
Yeah,
they are.
kind of. Yeah, it's really weird. Like,
I mean,
I don't know.
Zygarde makes it weird. The whole thing weird.
yeah,
'Cause
because he's not even supposed to have a role in like the Gen 7 games. It just like got carried over because like they were going to make Pokemon Z, and then it just like never worked out with the plans and all that shit, because like they went straight to Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire after, and then for the 20th anniversary, yeah, that would be the 20th anniversary, they were like, we need a new gen, so it's time to make Sun and Moon. So that was the big thing there, and they messed that up a little bit. Yeah, they just said, hey, just take our guy.
They
just,
literally
you know.
made him the hardest quest in that game,
Mhm.
besides like
Mhm.
shiny hunting and stuff.
Mhm.
Like because his like you actually had to travel around the entire region to get all of the different Zygarde pieces, and it took a long time.
See, you know what the strat is for that, and it's the same thing. I'm gonna go to Mario for a second. It's the best way to collect all the blue coins. The best way to get all the Zygarde cells is you don't get any at all. You wait till the end of the game, and then you watch a guide. I don't care if it's boring. That's how you do it, man. Because you're gonna forget what you got. You could get one at the beginning of the game, and you're like, I wonder if I got that. And then you're just like picking your nose for an hour, thinking about like if you did that or not. You know,
I found every one of them. I spent the time.
I'm just saying.
Everyone.
He put the time in. Gotta respect it.
He's a real grinder for that.
I think it's like, okay, so we're gonna get this city. We're gonna get a trailer. Hopefully, we get gameplay. Last thing I want to talk, or we will get gameplay.
I think
we have to. Last thing I want to say is get our takes on for ZA is I want to get both of your takes on a release date, or at least a release window.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we get one in this Pokemon presentation. If you don't think we get one, then let me know. But when do you guys think this game actually comes out? And then we'll move on to all the small stuff that we're gonna get at this presentation as well. Or
I think we get a month. I don't think we get a direct date. I think we get not a month. I think we get a season. I think they say like spring 2026 or something.
I'm
2026. You don't think it comes out this year?
That was just a year.
Okay,
But that was the example. Like I think they go spring.
fair.
And for my actual prediction, I'd say, damn, it could be summer 2025.
It's so weird, right? It totally could be.
It could be summer, but it could be November.
Okay, here's the really interesting thing about that. I know it's not a Switch 2 game, but when in history, and like nobody make fun of me because I actually don't remember. When in history have we ever got like a Pokemon launch title, quote unquote? Like
never. They're always delayed. Like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon came out November after the Switch 1 came out in March of 2017. So
yeah, I feel like Pokemon is always a November thing, unless well, I guess that's only mainline games, because like the Legends game came out, Legends Arceus came out in like a January,
yeah,
and then BDSP was in the November before it. So yeah. That was a thing.
To talking about BDSP. I never will get tired.
Dude, I will go on a rant. I swear we could do it right now. It's that bad. No, dude. I think we definitely get a date. I feel like there's no way we don't get a date. It was a cool tease, but I'm sick of seeing the blue wireframe. Like I want to see some like pen to paper gameplay kind of thing going on.
I have an amendment,
which we'll definitely see. Oh,
let's hear it.
I think.
Interesting.
If it's not getting released this year, which I highly doubt. If it's not getting released this year, I think
100%. I think it is.
Year. If
not, 100%. I think it is, because I think Nintendo confirmed that in their something meeting. Yes,
yeah.
that
I think
one.
it's coming out this year. 2020.
Yeah, it was Prime 4 and that game. So
I think it's probably November.
Yeah, because I don't think they do June, because I feel like Mario Kart is June along with.
Yes, Thomas.
Switch to. Do tell.
Summer 2025, November. Let's go, Johto. Discuss.
No, we're no.
Jack wants it. I can tell by the we got two opposite reactions. Inside me, there are two wolves. I want to hear
Pokemon Go is falling off, and the only reason that whole thing was made because of Pokemon Go, and Niantic is a bit of a clown show over there. I would doubt they made that.
I think it's not going to be a good game. I will say that. I'm probably
if they
not
did
gonna,
Let's Go?
I'm probably not going to buy it if they get it.
Yeah.
But that game, in terms of picking up and playing legitimate casual Pokemon, it's the best. You can't it's the most relaxing.
What,
game
Let's
to play
Go?
Pokemon. Let's Go games.
Even with that control scheme.
Yes.
With the
You don't have to play with the Joy-Con. I never played with the Joy-Con.
Wait, I thought you do have to play with the Joy-Con.
I used the stick, and you just. Or I'd do this. I didn't mind.
What? Wait, what? What stick? Am I lost? What stick are you talking about?
Uh-oh. We're getting some
Don't tell
tech
me.
here.
Uh-oh.
We're getting some tech. We're getting a live demonstration of.
You just do that. You could just do that. You don't have to.
That's what you meant by okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you don't
I
need
still
the
just
controller.
do that.
Yeah.
And
I was so confused.
You
I
can
was
just
like,
sit
what
around
stick you
doing
talking about?
absolutely nothing, just
Yeah.
casually playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think it's the best casual experience, but again, I'm not.
True.
I'm probably not gonna.
No. You're right. Yeah. No, you're right. The only, I guess, semantic thing. The only thing I didn't really like about Let's Go Pikachu Eevee. If I could use my Pro Controller on that game, I would have loved it 10 times more.
It'd be over.
I would have loved it 10 times more because by far, not only is it the first Pokemon game to come out on Switch, it's also the best looking one. Which, if you kind of think about it, that should never be the case.
Yeah, it's a bit depressing.
What are we they actually went backwards. Every single game they put out gradually looked worse. Every single time. It was never wow. What an upgrade in visuals. Wow, Game Freak just really killed it this time.
I think BDSP in the middle is the exception that proves the rule, because theoretically that should be the worst looking. That should have came out yesterday. Yeah. But anyway.
Well, okay. I'm so glad you brought that up. Thank you for bringing that up.
God.
The issue with BDSP is that they put a 2D map and they gave us a joystick when it's supposed to be used with a D-pad. So you can now move in a circle, but it's like you're in a 2D game and you're built like Steve from Minecraft, and I'm not talking Jack Black. I'm talking actual Steve. And you're moving in a circle on a 2D map, dude. That doesn't make sense. It's so bad. So
big hating. All right, we'll move on. I don't want to.
Yeah, we move on.
We move on. No, we move on. We move on. BDSP rant. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
I agree.
We've discussed Legends EA. I think we can all agree that we're not getting another Pokemon game in 2025 unless it is maybe a Let's Go type thing. Oh, maybe wrong.
Yeah, I think PJ and I
don't
disagree. I think PJ and I both might.
I think it's totally possible that I know this is not a new game. I'm going to keep saying it every year till it happens, but I do think it's possible for an NSO thing. Jack, I really do. I think it's possible because we got Mystery Dungeon.
I mean, there's we were talking before about the collection bundle.
Yeah.
NSO would just be so much better. The only thing that the only reason that a Pokemon collection set would be better is
home?
strictly Pokemon home based.
Yeah.
But for I don't know, maybe 70% of Pokemon fans, that doesn't matter. They'd rather just play the game. So having NSO would just be so much better.
Yeah.
So
I don't understand that.
That's what I wanted to talk about in terms of the spin-off type that sort of stuff.
I love the spin-offs. Let's do it.
I don't think we get a spin-off. The only thing I could see us get, and I want to talk about Pokemon TCG Pocket in a second, because I do think we get another pack for that. I think they show off a pack.
Potentially,
but
yeah.
I think it'll be kind of how the Celebi one was for the Mew one was for the other
Mystical
pack
Island.
where it was I think it'll be a second version of the smashing whatever they called the Diamond Pearl ones.
Smack time space time Smackdown or whatever.
Yeah. That was it exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
I think they'll do another pack. I think we can all agree on that. Maybe they show off trading stuff, because I know they said I know they're doing trading, but
They acknowledged it.
Yeah, they're talking about making it so it's not gonna like you can actually trade higher value cards, but their biggest concern, what they said was that it's just how do they balance it? How do they make sure people don't abuse just multiple accounts, opening a billion packs and just trading? That's because they don't want that.
Point,
That's what they don't want. They don't want people having. They don't want people having 3 accounts.
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody here that would have 3 accounts. That's so wild.
Yeah, so like they're trying to prevent that, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I just don't know how they're gonna do it.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, it is a little weird. I'm not like educated enough to even know the answer to this, but I wonder if it's like a hardware ID thing. I know that games can like hardware ID ban you on like PC and stuff like that, but I don't know if they can on like mobile devices. I don't know if that's even allowed.
You can't
like,
log out.
I don't even know.
You can't log out of TCG Pocket. So
you have to delete.
Really?
So anytime if someone had multiple accounts, they would have to delete their account every time. Don't ask how I know. They have to do it every single time. So like it's they make it harder, but not impossible. It takes about 30 seconds.
Interesting.
Okay. So there's that, and we've covered ZA. The NSO thing is kind of the last like big thing I want to talk about personally that I think will be or could be shown off. But I'm going to go out on a limb. I don't think it's happening. I think if it was going to happen, it would have already happened. I don't think they have any desire to make old Pokemon games playable. It would be so nice if there was Pokemon Home integration from like the NSO apps. That would be insane. But I think the issue is I don't think they add those. I don't think they're ever going to add Pokemon Home integration to like the Game Boy NSO app. I don't think they'll ever do that. I think then they're only going to bring back new games unless they can say, put your Pokemon in Pokemon Home. So the only way I could see it happening is a collection, which someone in the chat said earlier, I think it was Mothwing, said that they would buy a full collection of the like older, maybe first 3 generation Pokemon games you could go through.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I probably would too.
I don't know if you saw this. There was like a data leak of a Pokemon collections game, or like 2 of them. That one of them was going to be gens 1 through 3, and then the other was going to be 4 through 6, or
no way
7.
They would do that.
Yeah,
that would be sick.
But in the end, they said that it would all be Pokemon Home compatible and all that. That would be the best thing if it wasn't priced at $60.
Yeah, okay, or more. Hot take. I kind of don't hate that. I don't know why I don't hate that. Here's the reason
for 3 games.
60 for Gen 1, 2, and 3 is heinous.
Yeah,
that's a little
that's kind of true. I mean, I paid like almost triple that for a singular DS cartridge one time. So
ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, no, okay. The thing with that, I think if that even happens, I actually don't think it's this year. I think it's next year for the 30th anniversary. Now I know the big thing is definitely going to be Gen 10. Like I think everybody is predicting that, and that's a pretty safe bet. But if they wanted to like
tease
full
it?
Mario, no, like Gen 10, or do you mean?
Yeah, like do you think they teased the next big mainline game beyond Legends ZA in this presentation? Like in the same way they teased Legends ZA last time?
I think if they do, it's going to be in the exact same way they mentioned Megas in the ZA trailer. It's just going to be at the very, very end. There might just like flash like a title or like unknowns in the name of a title, and have people figure it out and be like either a name or like one of the new Pokemon from the generation, something like that. Yeah. That's what I think if they're going to announce it. Other than that, I don't think they announce it yet. I think that gets its own thing.
Yeah.
No, I think you're probably
really
right.
I was just going to say, really quick, long shot. This is always another prediction that I have for every single Pokemon Presents, even though it's delusional, but I want to put it up there anyway. It is the GameCube games, because I love those, the like XD and Coliseum, because those are great games.
That would be sick.
I think
I would
in a pack. In a pack, that would be a banger, because they've been.
I really do think we'll get Coliseum. And I'm not saying that to try to hype you up. I really think we could get a Coliseum on the Switch.
I'm down with that, because I've seen Coliseum copies online, and I'm just like, like, why is it that much? Like, come on now. Because I own XD, so hey, if it's just Coliseum, I'll take that.
I'd take XD too, but Coliseum
it is
would
a
be
little
better.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be dope. I want to give a shout out to Brian Geller with the super chat, and I want to answer his question and get your guys' take. Brian asks, why is NSO always what people want for these retro games? You are renting them, and the services will shut down in the far future. I want to own, not rent.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with the sentiment there. I think the one like additional point I'll add is whenever you're buying a digital copy of a game, you are not owning the game. You're owning a license to the game, and it's already like such a hairy. Like I agree that I would like to be able to own like even if it didn't get a cartridge release, I would like to be able to go onto the eShop and buy a thing. Like that's the same reason why I could get the expansion pass and instantly get the Mario Kart 8 DLC and Octo expansion, but I buy all those anyway because if I cancel my NSO or NSO ends, I want to still have the content. So I agree with the sentiment, but I think it's more so just being realistic. I think NSO is clearly what Nintendo is doing in terms of their older games. They're not like putting out like packs. There was that Nintendo World Championships thing, but that was like different. We haven't gotten like an NES. There's no virtual console. You can't buy games a la carte. It's a subscription service now, so I think that's just what people are, it's just kind of playing by the rules of the game that Nintendo has set up, to be honest. But it's unfortunate, and I agree with your take, Brian, because it's annoying to not own the games that you want to own, but
100%.
That's just the way the industry, honestly. If you look at even Game Pass and what Xbox is doing over there and PS Live, PS Now, whatever it's called. So it is what it is. But yeah, I agree. I think though, if they are going to release the Pokemon games like in collections, I think they'll do it like the collection thing you said was apparently data mine jack rather than putting it on NSO, because there's no way they release a modern. There's no way they release the older Pokemon games again, and you can't connect them with Pokemon Home, and I don't see the infrastructure being available for that in the NSO apps, because it's more so that would just be straight up emulation. I don't think they ever like added anything to those apps besides like the special versions, but that's a whole different thing in my opinion. But
want to hear the most hater take ever about the Pokemon thing? You ready for this? The reason they don't allow us to replay the older games, especially Gen 3, is because they're actually better than the new ones. They don't want us to know that, though. They don't want the kids to learn that. Nobody tell them.
How low are you going? How low are you going?
That's why I said that's massive hater take.
No, but I understand
how low? What's the lowest generation you feel confident saying that in?
The lowest, definitely 3.
Okay.
I feel like 3 is the lowest for sure, because I feel like I'm not like
Gen 1's bad. Gen 1's really bad.
Yeah, I tried playing it on the 3DS, and it's like
really bad.
Yeah.
Gen 2 is infinitely
dude,
bad.
I still think it's fine. I went back and played Gen 1 like before we did our 100 games.
Like Pokemon Red?
Yeah. No, Yellow, but yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I went back. I went back. I mean, I went back and I was like, "Yeah, let's give this thing a shot." Dude, it just felt like a colorblind version of like Gen 3, except the graphics were way worse. If I'm being honest, like as a casual fan, I did not notice that much different. There was less content, but that's to be expected.
My biggest pet peeve about the older games is the no running shoes thing. It makes me insane.
Annoying.
I feel so slow, dude. Oh my god.
You walk extra slow in those games too.
It's horrible.
They're trolling. We're seeing a bunch of Pokemon Rumble in the chat right now. Is Pokemon Rumble legit?
Dude, Pokemon Rumble is based as hell. I remember playing it on my 3DS. I remember playing it on my Wii.
All right.
Yeah,
I believe you.
I remember playing it on my Wii. That was great.
God.
These are, oh my god.
15 years ago?
Dude, these are banger games. Don't hate. Are you really the last person? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Dang, 15 years ago, looking at the review of this. Put it on. That's crazy.
Yeah,
anyway, Pokemon Rumble, we could potentially get something like that. I'm saying maybe we get some sort of like spin-off type thing. Maybe I don't think there will be anything Switch 2 related in this direct, to be honest. I just don't think they're gonna be like, this is a Switch 2 game before Nintendo's had their April thing.
I was about to say, how out of place would that be if Pokemon was like, hey guys, so we're releasing a Switch 2 game, and you know that Mario Kart that you guys were wondering about? You gotta wait till April. So yeah. I'd be shocked. That would be insane.
It'd be the best move ever if they just drop some
True,
more Switch 2
but
news
that would
during
just-
Pokemon Day.
That'd be insane.
Yeah, that
you
would be
kidding?
sick. That would be really dope.
I mean, could they say like this is? I don't know if they would say. Would they say this is our last Switch only game for like Legends ZA? Would that be a thing? Like I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe
that
they
would
would say
actually
that.
that would
'Cause
actually
they're always
be
behind.
that would be how they announce the next, kind of like how Jack was saying they put a bunch of like unknown or whatever the Pokemon is that
Unknown,
comes up
yep.
and like says it. They that would be how they announce the next generation. They could say like we've started work on generation 10. These games will be releasing on the Nintendo Switch 2 console. We hope you stay tuned for that in the future.
Yeah, the thing is they're always like a year behind. So I almost wonder if they're considering like ZA to be this game and then just like Gen 10 is going to be just
Switch
that
2.
cuz they were behind on the 3DS, they were behind on the Switch. I don't know. Kind of
They've
interesting.
been working on this for a minute. That's like the thing that I don't know where it's gonna sit. How it's like in the.
I'm trying
for the
to temper
consoles.
my expectations because like
ZA?
a generation that's so, I'm going to say it. I'm sorry. It's a little boring. It's just bland. It's just a little bland. It's not bad. I like the games. They're fun. They're just a little bland. So I don't know. Be interesting to see what they do with it, considering all the time they've had as well, or they've reportedly committed to it. Could be,
We shall
could be
see.
a banger.
We shall see. I think from this point we can move on to some fan questions. Obviously, this is the Pokemon episode, so we'll probably steer towards Pokemon questions, but we'll answer whatever. So, anything Nintendo video game related, drop it in the live chat and we will be answering. Again, if you are listening or watching to this podcast after the fact, if you want to get your questions answered, come to the Switch Stop channel on 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be streaming Nintendo Tonight every week on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll wait for the fan questions to come in. Dude, I'm excited for this Pokemon Presents, dude. I'm pretty
hyped.
stoked.
I'm hyped.
I think this
Watch
game,
party, boys. This could be sick. This could be sick.
Yeah,
I think it might
I'd be down.
Is it during
might
our?
be-
Is it during the podcast?
I
We'll
mean,
do
hey
it
man,
after, I don't
do what you got to do.
The like Legends ZA is the first question coming in from Blazing. Why does Pokemon
That's
suck?
exactly what I saw.
Dude, that's a great question. You two can answer. Why does Pokemon suck?
Boring
It does-
storylines. Not all games. Not
Gen
all
9 was one of the best stories ever.
Generally,
you?
it's not why is Gen 9
okay.
bad. It's
Okay,
why is
okay.
Pokemon bad. It's because
Okay.
generally the
That's
storyline
true.
is very generic. It doesn't have a lot to. I mean, again,
And
look at Gen 5.
they're understaffed, or it's either that or they're misutilized, or there's a higher up issue because there's kind of no excuse. Like you have the revenue to get the results. I kind of want to respond to some of it. It's not even a question, but like Chris said, you said, I really hope Gen 10 is Switch 2 if Switch 1 is doomed to LOL. Dude, I actually don't know what I'm going to do. If this is a Switch 1 game, that's crazy. And on
Gen
the
10 is?
30th anniversary, dude, that's wild. No way they do that. They're on something if they're doing that.
All right, I'm gonna read off a couple questions to get your guys' quick hot takes.
Let's do it.
Do you guys think a new Let's Go will happen on Switch 2?
Yes. Yes,
Ooh.
100%.
Oh, absolutely not. Ooh, absolutely not.
Okay.
Side
We'll
bet.
talk. We'll talk after. We'll talk after.
Oh,
Side
yeah.
bet
We'll talk
afterwards.
after.
Side
We'll
bet
talk
afterwards.
Yeah,
Mac-
we could say the B word. Yeah.
Mac is Mac is asking for one wish for Legend ZA. We already talked about this. I'll just give you mine. It was mini games, bro. I want them to add in little Pokemon mini games and like side quests throughout the city.
I have
Okay,
another one. I want
Ooh, let's
I
hear
want
it.
the Pokemon to be able to follow you with like the
Yes.
better 3D models. With
Yes.
the better 3D
Thank
models.
you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, PJ and Jack, because you're also a Pokemon fan. This question comes from Chris Tendo. What do you specifically want to see in Generation 10 when it releases, outside of it being good? LMAO.
Of course. Okay, so I could be really boring, and I could say stable 60 FPS. I could be really boring.
That's it being good. So outside of
Yeah. True. That's true. That's true. That's an interesting question.
I know.
I mean,
if you want to think, I can go because I know.
okay. And, I mean, I have it.
Go.
But okay. No, I this is again kind of boring. But I was gonna say megas. Like I feel like you're building up. Like I feel like it would be kind of a bad move. You like bring them back for the one Legends game, and then you just like yank it away from us again because like we love megas, and now you're just gonna take it away again. Like why? Why, Game Freak? But
you sound like a hurt child.
No,
like,
literally,
you've been hurt by them too many times.
I am hurt because
Heart been broke too many times.
They gave us Z moves. They gave us Dynamax. It was horrible moves out
that's
here.
Fair. Jack, what's
Horrible
yours?
moves.
I have two. First one,
Okay.
not realistic, but I would love to see it. Being able to go back in generations.
Yes,
That would be sick.
Yeah.
But the other thing, I want to be able to obtain all generational starters, or at least one of each, throughout the main storyline. So you'll get 10 starters. Or like it's like catching Pokemon, but like you complete a challenge, you get to pick one of like the Gen 2 starters.
That's interesting.
Gen 3 starters, or gym based, or it's gym based. Each gym you get a new starter, and then like Elite Four.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't know, but something like that, I think that would be awesome.
I like that because it was sprinkled in a Scarlet and Violet.
Yep.
And
you got the Kanto.
Yeah, it was just the only thing was it was such a process to do it.
Yeah,
like,
that's why I think you need to do it.
Luckily,
with,
I
like,
found
gym
this
leader.
Discord. Yeah, luckily I found this Discord. I like joined a bunch of these randoms, and like basically you would do like these quests in the DLC to like get points, so that you can go to a computer and use your points and purchase the ability to encounter the starters. Like it was so weird, but
Hey,
yeah.
it is what it is.
Indeed.
Mothwing, we answered the Let's Go on Switch 2 question. Jack thinks yes, PJ thinks no. Switch 2 Life. This question is gonna take a minute, so we're gonna alter it. But they're asking what your favorite Pokemon is from each generation. So 9 Pokemon each. We don't have time for that, but I'm saying like favorite. I'll just pick a random generation. Favorite Pokemon from Gen. You know what? Let's stay on Gen 6. Do you guys know the Gen 6? I don't like know.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Favorite Pokemon from Gen 6?
I'm gonna go with either Sylveon or Aegislash. Those dudes are pretty sick.
Sylveon's.
I'm gonna go Sylveon.
Sylveon.
Sylveon is.
I mean,
Sylveon's sick.
this is the fairy gen. It's the fairies.
I know.
Xerneas is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, and Xerneas came out that gen, so Xerneas.
Xerneas.
Pissed.
Okay.
Pissed.
Fair
Pissed.
enough. Last question we're gonna hit from. Or actually, we'll do 2 more. Chris has another one asking, what do you want the starters for ZA to be, considering it won't just be the Gen 6 starters if they follow what they did with Arceus, because that wasn't just the Gen 4.
The leak said?
Oh, has it been leaked?
No,
Yeah,
the starters rarely ever actually leak. But
Yeah.
I've seen Greninja, Delphox, and Chestnut, just so the standard starters. But because it's a ZA game, I think we get.
You think we get the mix again?
I think Greninja's in there for sure, because he's the most iconic Pokemon from this gen. Torchic. I would take a Blaziken
Torchic
as a
would be
fire.
good.
Yeah. Mega Blaziken was sick.
He was.
Sceptile.
Yes.
Yeah.
That dude is sick too. Gen 3 starters are just elite.
Goated.
I think ZA, a lot of the, not to get too deep here, but a lot of the lore around ZA and just Pokemon Z in general, I feel like, or at least I hope, is Game Freak kind of going back and being like, okay, this is what we wanted to do with this game. Now we have more opportunity and like a bigger scale now that we have the Switch. And like, we're going to kind of do Kalos right. And I think they should just do the Gen 6 starters and give them the Mega Forms. Like, literally,
I think that's best case scenario.
Give Greninja the Ash Greninja form, because you already, like, uncanonized it in Gen 9, where you nerfed the ability and pretended that, like, that whole thing just did not exist at all. And then when he showed up in the anime, huge rant, when he showed up in the anime, he, like, didn't do the little transformation, and he wasn't, like, Ash Greninja, but, like, now it's Lucario that's the guy. And he's just like Greninja, but different. It's like the same thing, but he can make it. Anyway, I think, and I hope they just have the Gen 6 stars and they give them Megas. I feel like that's the most logical way to go. But I can also see them just doing the randomized starters. But would they let them Mega? Because that would be weird, right?
We shall see.
Like a bunch of random starters Mega.
You're going to have to.
I just think it has to be
Greninja,
Gen 6. I think it just has to be Gen 6.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, last question we're going to be answering is from the Vinyl Volts, and they ask, do we think we'll see things from the September Terra leak, stuff like the stuff leaked out, like the new Detective Pikachu movie, but this is what I want us to answer. Do we think we see a new Pokemon online game? Because that was the one of the more interesting things from that leak, and that's what I want to focus on from their question. I don't know if we see it in this presentation, but I think eventually we will see some sort of Poke MMO. Like they already tried.
Yeah.
I think within the next like two years, I think we'll get it released. I think they already tried expanding Pokemon into other game genres, obviously with all the spinoffs, but more specifically with Pokemon Unite. They're trying to expand Pokemon into a game genre that is something that they can kind of just have running in the background, making them money every time.
Totally.
Like Pokemon Unite is a great example of that because it is like a league type thing. And I think a Pokemon MMO is the ultimate, that is the final destination for that mentality of like, okay, let's just make a game, small updates, and it'll just make bank the whole time. I think Poke MMO is like, that's the next, not next step, because they're never going to stop making like the new generations and the remakes and all that. But
yeah, of course.
I think that's the evolution from a monetary perspective for the Pokemon company. So I think we'll get that.
I'll tell you one thing, they better get their staff together. They better figure that out, man. If you're going to be branching out so much, we got to figure this stuff out, bros. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Chris is saying it might have been Ilka that was working on that, but I'm not entirely sure. It might have been leaked that it was them.
No, don't sit. No.
I don't know.
No. I'm having BDSP flashbacks. It's happening.
I'd be really upset. I'd be very, very upset.
If it was Ilka. I feel like it's probably not their fault, though.
Yeah.
The BDSP was so bad. I feel like every Pokemon game being bad comes down to the Pokemon company and their insatiable quest to put out something like every single year, to where it gets to the point where like they're not willing to spend money on development, but they're rushing stuff out. Because like, bro, that game was so bad to the point to where you could just tell it wasn't a bad job from developers. It was just rushed. Yeah,
I mean, when you have the exact same glitches from the DS game. Like, I know I wanted a remake, but like
Control A, Control C,
insane.
Control V. That's what they did.
That's insane.
They copied the entire code from the DS game. It must have been. Because you don't get the same glitches.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I don't actually... Yeah, I think it's mismanaged. I think, just really quick, I think the good thing about ZA, I think they're actually making a good decision. I know I was confused at first, where it was like, but Gen 5's next, why wouldn't you go there? I think... the fact that you're going ahead to Gen 6 when Gen 5 is like the remake that's like next lined up, I think they kind of saw their error. Maybe this could be huge cope. Maybe they saw their error and was like, oh, we probably shouldn't do that because we're just like sending out this remake that like people care about, but our real big game is the Legends game. So, excuse me.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. All right, well. I think that's it. That's about it for the podcast, and that's about it for the stream. But thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you, Jack, for joining us for this annual Pokemon episode.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, if it all pans out, you'll be back next week, and we'll be reacting to one of the greatest Pokemon trailers of all time. I mean, that could hopefully be the case. We'll see how it goes.
Back-to-back Pokemon episodes will feed generations. I'm telling all of you. I'm telling you.
Oh, man. I mean, hey, it'll be fun. Yeah.
Should be cool.
If you guys are still in the stream and excited for more Pokemon content from Switched-Up, obviously pay attention. Next week, we'll be discussing this entire thing. But also, we have a prediction video PJ made for this this Pokemon Presents coming out tomorrow at around noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned for that. But with that out of the way, thank you, PJ. Thank you, Jack, for joining me. Thank you, everyone in the chat. And thank you for listening to Nintendo Tonight, episode 77. And we will see you next week on the Switched Up channel at 6 p.m. Eastern Time Standard Time Thursday. That was words that made sense.
That's the one.
Bye, chat.